Hello, friends. Oh my gosh, today's topic is like so alive in my world and in the world of so many people who I'm talking to right now that I cannot wait to get into the juice of today's topic, how to speak up confidently. So this conversation is for you if you tend to hold back, you don't want to disappoint, you want to avoid conflict, you tend to sit or stew in your emotions, you stuff your feelings. You just sometimes don't know how or don't know the words to use to speak up authentically. If that is you, then this conversation is for you. And we're going to be diving deeper into exactly what to do so that you truly can be authentically you and speak up from that authentic truth. So hello, my name is Debbie Lichter, founder of Freedom Embodied Academy, and also actually creator of Adornment Alchemy Jewelry. And it was funny because this morning I decided to put on this ring right here. This ring I call the Speak Up Confidently ring. It's a gemstone called Amazonite. And that's exactly what it does. It helps you to speak your truth, to speak up confidently, to communicate the authenticity that's going on deep down inside. And so I thought, what a perfect little mascot we have here today. So we've got a little mascot as we dive into this topic. But I want you just to check in with your own life right now. Do you ever sort of come to in your life and you're like, I've been betraying myself. I've been doing what other people need me to do, or I've been sort of disconnected from what I need to do for me, or I've just been smoothing things over in this relationship, or I haven't been speaking up honestly about what I truly need. I just want you to check in with yourself around that, because this is so important. And this is a topic that will continue through our entire lives, right? Because as we interact with people and new situations and circumstances, we're always coming into contact with this, can I actually connect in with my truth? And can I speak, can I voice from this authentic place, regardless of what that's going to do in the world? And how do I do that in a way that honors myself and honors other people? So let's first talk about what we mean by speaking up, or speaking up confidently, or speaking up. You know, speaking up is voicing your truth. And I want to be really clear when I talk about voicing, because voicing your truth is something that comes from deep down within you. In the Freedom Embodied Academy, we literally talk about voicing being something that comes all the way from like your pelvis, like from the root of your body, coming all the way up through your core, through that gut instinct, through that core truth, moving all the way through your heart's intelligence, through your heart's compassion, and then coming out, articulating through your throat. It's something that comes from the bottom up. And because of that, it's something that honors all of you, right? It honors all of you. It's a congruent thing to do. It's actually one of the embodied practices that we do in the Academy to live congruently in this way. And so that's what voicing is. Voicing and speaking up confidently is also living authentically. It's also living in that head, heart, and gut alignment. What you might, if you've been in my world for long enough, you might come to know as living congruently. It's when you have that gut feeling inside, you're being called to say something, or you have a feeling that's, something's going on your heart that's weighing on you, and you honor that by communicating that. This is all a part of living authentically. It's all a part of aligning with your truth. And it's all a part of living congruently. And these all live within the world of speaking up. This is so important. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about speaking up in the workplace, right? Speaking up to a colleague, or someone to a boss or to an employee. We're talking about, I just had this happen yesterday when I was at the nail salon. I feel like I have all these stories about being at the nail salon. I don't know. But anyway, I was at a new nail salon yesterday, checking them out. And I was getting a pedicure, doing the whole thing. And, they're kind of upselling me on the manicure piece. And I'm like, I don't really want a full manicure. I kind of just... And this woman said, well, what about a buff and a shine? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Fine. I just don't want the nail polish to chip. You know how it is. And so she does this job. And, I'm kind of thinking sometimes when they add on a manicure on top of the pedicure, it's like, $13, $15. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's kind of a crappy job. There's still dirt underneath my fingers, and she hasn't really shaped my nails very well. And I'm kind of like, well, it's not a big deal. Then she slaps the bill down while I'm still in the, getting the pedicure. She slaps the bill down, and I see that it's actually more expensive than the pedicure, this manicure thing that I got. And I'm like, now, no. So anyway, I kind of make eye contact with the manager or the owner or whoever he is. And, I kind of call him over. And it was this moment where I kind of thought to myself, Deb, stop being high maintenance. Don't be a brat. It's fine, whatever. It's not like it's going to break the piggy bank. Just go with it. It's not a big deal. Don't be that sort of squeaky wheel. But I was like, no, this is feeling off. For me to actually not speak up is for me to dishonor the truth here, where I'm looking and I'm like, gosh, I'm going to have to give myself a manicure after I leave this place just to clean my nails and shape my nails, whatever. So I call the guy over, I show him, he apologizes, brings a woman over, she fixes it up. She does a beautiful job, really, really happy with it. But this is a tiny, really simple, trivial example. But think about in your life, whether it is in the boardroom, whether it's in the bedroom. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Whether it's in the bedroom, right? Speaking up, asking for what you want, speaking your truth. This comes up for us all the time. And so what I want to get into today is why this is so important, why it's so important to speak up, to honor your truth, and what happens when we don't. And then what we need to do, how do we actually do this so that we can truly, truly live in that alignment, live in that authenticity, live in that congruence, and feel good inside, right? Because when you're not speaking up, hi, beautiful, when you're not speaking up, it feels like crap. Something just came up for me last night, and I felt all this welling up. Before I actually spoke up, it was like my entire chest to throat, this whole area just felt inflamed and shut down and awful. I wanted to throw up. Oh, guys, a visceral feeling when you are cutting yourself off, when you have a truth that's not being expressed. It's you feel it in your body. It is not a comfortable feeling. So let's talk about why this is so important. Here's the deal. Is that think about speaking up. This happens all at the throat, right? So at the throat chakra, this is the energetic center of truth. Okay, this is the energetic center of truth. In the academy, we do a lot of deep work here. This is called Gateway 5 here. And in Gateway 5, it is your truth center. So what happens if you have a core, if you've got something in your guts just telling you, no, this isn't right, or I need to go do this, or I need to say this to this person, or something's not feeling right about all of this, that all comes from your gut. Or let's say you just had your feelings hurt. Someone just said something and it really, really hurt your feelings. If you bottle that stuff down, if you stuff that down and you keep that stuff weighing on your heart, or you disconnect from that gut truth that's trying to tell you, a very, very core piece of information, what that does is that actually traumatizes your throat. Because here's what's happening, is that your mind is justifying why you shouldn't go and honor your truth, why it's not safe for you to speak up, right? You're going to create conflict. You're going to create another fight. You're going to create disappointment. You're going to create misunderstanding, or that core truth. You're going to get judged, or people are going to push back at you, or you're going to have to, it's going to create more conflict, or you're going to be misunderstood. And so in our mind, we say, I'm not going to do that. And we start to create some justification or rationalization, or we start to negotiate our truth in our mind. Have you ever done that? You start to negotiate your truth. Well, maybe, and you start to, if you're noticing yourself ever in your mind trying to negotiate and process and think through how to address something, then the chances are you're not in your truth. You are in your mind. And this is what we do all the time. So we get up in our head, we deny or discredit or override what's happening here at the heart, what's happening here in our body, in our core, in our gut. And what that does is that actually traumatizes our truth center right here. And when we traumatize our truth center, we start lying, we start holding back, we start being inauthentic, we start being disingenuous. And guess what? This is also then where we start to overeat, where we start to overdrink, where we start to overtalk and explain, right? All these things start to happen where we shut down our natural expression and we start to live in this kind of shadow, in this shadow way, in our truth center. This is, if you're someone who is wanting to live in alignment, if you're wanting to live authentically, if you're wanting to live free from food or any other addiction that is holding you back or blocking you, it is vital, it is mission critical, vital that you start honoring your truth, okay? It's so, so, so important. Hey, Lindsay, I'm so glad that you joined us as well. So how do we do this? How do we do this? Okay, the first thing that you need to do before just speaking up, and this is so, so important because I talk to people all the time and they're like, well, I'm just gonna tell that person, you know, I told that person my mind and I just spoke up and I was, you know, I kind of taken back my power and all this stuff. And it's like, whoa. Now, I am all for authentic communicating. I'm all for it. But here's the thing, is that if we are still hanging on to resentment or rage or righteous indignation about something, about a circumstance, then if we try to speak from that place, we are not going to be voicing our truth. We are going to be speaking our mind, which is very, very different. It's top down. It's not connected to the truth of who we are. And all we're doing is getting something off of our chest. And I hear this from people all the time, like, I got to get this off my chest. Well, when you do that, what you're really taking is your wounding and your crap, and you're unloading it onto someone else, saying, you hold my wounding and my crap because I have to get it off of me because it's toxic inside of me. Well, what do you think that does for somebody else? That becomes toxic for that other person. And so what's so imperative before we actually speak up, the first thing we have to do is we have to clear our own crap. You've got to clear the resentment. You've got to clear the rage. You've got to clear the fear. You've got to clear the stuff that is actually obscuring your access to your real truth. Because the thing is, in the moment, you know, we all know that experience of being so blinded by rage, blinded by anger, blinded by resentment, that like we feel like we can't even hold back from speaking up, from letting that stuff, just from those caustic words to just burst forth from us, right? We can't even, it's like, it's so like, this is my truth right now and I've got to get it out, you know, like it's like this like urgency to do that stuff. I promise you that is never, ever, ever going to work. And you don't need me to tell you that, right? Because you've probably done that a million times, just like I have. And it's like, yeah, that actually creates more conflict, more distance, more separation, more misunderstanding, more defensiveness, right? It's like, it's not what we want to do. And yet sometimes it's like, oh my God, it's so hard not to do that, right? And so this first piece of clearing your crap so that you can truly, truly get to the real truth underneath all of that story is vital. It's so, so vital. We're talking about clearing away the things that are blocking you. In the academy, we look at the resentment, the fear, the blame, the shame, the grief, the remorse, the regret, right? All this stuff that's like literally creating this brick on top of you that completely blocks you from being able to speak up authentically. That's all the stuff that needs to be cleared out so that you can get to your truth. This is the next thing that needs to happen. You need to be able to connect in with your core truth. So the first tip is that you need to clear the crap. If you're wanting to learn how to speak up confidently, the first thing you have to do is you have to clear that crap out of the way. The second thing that you need to do is that you need to uncover your truth. You need to uncover your truth. And what do I mean by that? This is about you connecting to your core truth. How many times have you been floating through life and you don't even know what your truth is? You kind of, it's like you come to and you realize, I'm living out of alignment, and you're angry and you feel betrayed and you've been betraying yourself and you want to sort of take back your power or whatever the term is that you use. But it's like we don't even kind of know, like, what is my truth here? This is a whole practice of learning how to connect in with your inner guidance. Learning how to connect in with your core truth and your inner guidance. And let me give you a little hint. Your core truth is in your core. It is in the center of you. It is deep down inside of you. It's not here. If you find yourself in justification land, in explanation land, in rationalization land, you are not in your core truth. So in the academy, we talk about the inner guidance system being a combination of that gut instinct, right at the core, your deep sixth sense intuition, and divine inspiration that is informing you at all times. And so that trifecta of inner trust is something to calibrate into, because it's important to really feel that. And I just had this come up recently where I felt snagged because I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not speaking, I'm not speaking up. I'm finding myself holding back because I don't want to create conflict, right? And so then my mind goes into, well, maybe, and I start to navigate, negotiate what my truth is. And I was like, no, that's not where my truth lives. My truth lives deep down here. So if I wasn't all caught up with my crap of not wanting other people to be mad at me or creating conflict or, you know, disappointing others or letting people down or whatever it is, if I wasn't in all of my crap and all of my story about all of that, and I was just connecting in with the core truth, what would I do here? And that's what helped me align to, okay, this is the action that needs to be taken. This is what needs to happen. Now, before we go out and we actually speak up, the next thing that needs to happen, the third thing that needs to happen, is that we need to take responsibility for what is ours. Take responsibility for what is ours. I just got into a thing with my partner last night because I was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so not living in my truth here. I am, like, I keep on compromising. I keep on saying, I need to go do this, this, and this. And he's like, well, let's go do it later. Let's do this instead. And then I kind of forget. I just like, I forget that that's what I wanted to do. And then I'm like, wait a second, for weeks I've been wanting to do this and we still haven't done it. So initially I wanted to project onto him because it's all his fault. And then I'm like, no, this is why we're talking about number 3 here. Number 3 is I need to take responsibility for what is mine. What is mine is that it's not his fault that I'm drifting away from my center. It's not his fault that I declare what I want to do and then forget about it 5 minutes later and just go off with somebody else's plan. It's nobody else's problem. It's nobody else's responsibility to take than mine. I need to take responsibility for what is mine. So how have I been showing up in this? How have I been betraying myself? How have I been cutting off my own voice, not speaking up? How have my stories and all the stuff that I believe, all the things, all the stuff that's weighing on me, how has that been contributing to me not honoring my truth channel? And this is a vital, vital piece, because again, if we're speaking up from the place of, I'm speaking up, getting this off my chest because I need you to know this, because you need to take responsibility for my actions, we're gonna feel really, really stuck. So these are all the things that I'm going through. Clear your crap, connect to your authentic core truth, connect to that inner guidance, uncover what that is and stand in it, honor it, stand in it, and then take responsibility for what is yours before you just project it onto other people. Trust me, it doesn't work. I know you've done that before. I've done that before. It doesn't work. Okay, now we can finally get to the actual speaking up part. So when you speak up, you're going to share authentically how you feel. Now, when I say share authentically how you feel, I don't mean, I feel like you're being an a-hole. You know, have you ever done one of these? I feel like you need to, you know, that's not a feeling. That's not a feeling. So that's a projection. So when we're talking about feeling, we're actually talking about getting vulnerable, about, I'm feeling really sad. I'm feeling really pissed off right now. I'm feeling really misunderstood. I'm feeling like I don't want to be, I need some space right now. I am afraid of what I'm going to say. I need to take 5 to myself. You know, like, what are the authentic things that are going on? Here's what's so important about speaking up, is that oftentimes we think that we have to have this like polished thing, like we already have to be on the other side of whatever it is that we're moving through in order to speak up. And then we have to say, okay, this is what I need you to do, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is how things should be, and all this stuff. That's not sometimes what is really what's going to serve the container. What's going to serve the container most oftentimes is speaking right into whatever's coming up for you in that moment, but doing it in a self-responsible way. So, I mean, yeah, an example is, I'm feeling so disconnected from you right now. Or, I'm feeling really awkward about this. I really want to feel closer to you, and I'm feeling disconnected. I'm really sad. You know, what are those things that are happening, and how can you speak into that in the moment? There's something really powerful when we are communicating with others. When we are self-responsible and we speak vulnerably into what's coming up for us in the moment, it actually creates a bridge of understanding. It creates a bridge. When we start telling other people how they need to be, we start to create separation. And so this is a very, I mean, there's such a nuanced conversation. I feel like I could do a 4-part training on all of this. There's so many facets. But these are some of the pieces that I find are so, so valuable and so, so important. So again, just in summary, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, we're talking about how to speak up confidently and really why that's so important. Because again, when you are honoring that truth, that has you living congruently, it has you living in alignment, it has you living authentically, and that will have you living with a certain kind of internal comfort in your own skin. And when you have that internal comfort in your own skin, you're living authentically. When you feel something, you communicate it. That actually is a way, it's one of the ways to embody this path of freedom from whatever obsessions or addictions might have held you back or might be holding you back right now. It's so, so powerful. It's one of the ways that we actually embody that experience. When you are not living in that truth, when you are stuffing or stifling or stewing or silently raging or holding back and not actually honoring that, this is a recipe for blockage, for disconnect, and for addictions and obsessions to show up, not to mention chronic pain and a lot of discomfort and dis-ease. Hey, Julie, I'm so glad that you're here as well. And so truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to support you in really having the tools to speak up confidently. And I know that we can't go into all the aspects of how to do these things, but I want to give you these 4 tips right now. The first one is, before you try to speak up, you want to clear your crap. You want to clear your rage, your resentment, all the things that are weighing heavy on you, all the blame, all the projection. You got to clear that stuff out of the way so that you can, number 2, connect to your core truth. Connect to that authentic truth so that you can voice from that place, right? And here's the thing, is that is connecting to your inner guidance, connecting to your gut instinct, your intuition, your divine inspiration, to really, really access what is that core that does not include all of the justifications and all the rationalizations that my mind is coming up with because I want to avoid conflict. When you clear away all that stuff, you can connect truly into that aligned core truth. And then from that place, you need to take responsibility for what is yours. So again, you stop projecting, you stop making it about the other person, you really get honest about, how have I been self-betraying here? What do I need to take responsibility for? It brings us into a deeper place of ownership, of humility, that really allows us to move through our own compassionate heart, to find an internal place of compassion, to come into that internal alignment with inside of ourselves. And then once we have done that, then the next thing is to voice authentically, right? It's to speak up and share your feelings. And remember, sharing your feelings is not sharing what you think of the other person. Sharing your feelings is being vulnerable, being authentic. I'm feeling really sad. I'm feeling really angry right now. I'm feeling really disconnected right now. I would like to have some time with you. I feel like there's some stuff that's weighing on me that I want to talk to you about. There's some stuff that's holding me back. I want to feel closer to you, and I'm feeling blocked right now. And there's some stuff that I would like to talk to you about. You know, what are the things that you're authentically feeling? You don't have to have it all figured out. It's really about just being able to speak truly into that moment. And that goes for whether you are in a work environment, when you are in a family environment, whether you're in a romantic environment, whether you're with a friend, whether you're with a mentor. Doesn't matter where you are. These are tools that can support you in every single area of your life. So I'm so honored, Julie and Jen and Lindsay, for tuning in live today. I would love to know the biggest takeaway you got from today's dialogue. I feel like when I go back and I look at my notes to today's discussion, I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, we didn't talk about this, we didn't talk about this, because there's so much there. So what I would love to know is your biggest takeaway today. And if you have a question about a specific situation or a way that you're really needing some guidance or support around how to speak up confidently, or how to just speak your truth, how to really align with your truth, email me, reach out to me, or send me a private Facebook message. You can email me at debbie@freefromfoodaddiction.com. debbie@freefromfoodaddiction.com. It would be such an honor to connect with you and to speak more. I would so love to help you. And in the meantime, I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway was. And if you found this valuable today, then please forward this, share this with a friend, spread the word. Let's get more people living authentically, speaking up confidently. I just feel like that's going to make the whole world so much better. So thank you again for tuning in today. It's such an honor to be here with you. Thank you for taking the time for you, and I will connect more with you soon. Bye for now.